Think about it. A studio can't exactly put a 55-inch TV in everyone's cubicle. Though that may actually change with LG's new 48-inch CX OLED, which is on its way right now. Subscribe for that review because I'm really excited about it. For now, let's see what the PA32UCX can do. Out of the box, with no additional calibration, our set performed, well, there's just no other way to put it, phenomenally. I mean, we're already used to seeing 95+% coverage of the DCI P3 color gamut on OLED and other displays that have quantum dot films, but check out this coverage of BT 2020. That is huge. In terms of accuracy, ours did oversaturate blue and undersaturated red a little bit, but it still managed to keep the delta E average under 2, so we're talking about deviations that would be imperceptible to the human eye. And if you want to go to the next level, you can immediately calibrate it yourself, which will be especially easy given that the North American models are going to have an X-Rite i1 Display Pro calibration device right in the box. That's a pretty good value considering that they're $285 on X-Rite store. Even if you don't calibrate it right away, you're gonna need to do it at some point though. You might not know, but monitors don't stay tuned forever, and you should be recalibrating the modes that are important to your workflow at least every couple of months. One thing that's cool about this monitor is that calibration profiles can be saved on the scaler's integrated circuit rather than on the PC, so you don't have to fiddle around with any settings if you move this puppy in between devices. Not that you would want to. The PA32UCX is straight chunk at nearly 15 kilograms, including the stand, which, by the way, I've got to say I'm a real fan of. It's not sold separately and has a wide, stable base, 28 degrees of tilt, 120 degrees of swivel, 13 centimeters of height adjust, and full 90-degree pivot both ways. The reason this thing is so big and so heavy is because of the backlight technology. The PA32UCX has full array local dimming, which means that the lights are right behind the panel as opposed to at the edges. And it uses mini LEDs, which at 200 microns wide are about a fifth the size of traditional LEDs. So this army of around 720,000 little lights is then divided up into 1,152 dimming zones, meaning that in theory, this display should be able to illuminate objects as small as 5 millimeters wide while leaving the rest of the screen inky black with no halo effect. Now in practice, the blooming is a little bit bigger than that, but it's still very good. And this is really fun. I don't know if you've ever noticed this before, but you'll even still get blooming on an OLED display where each individual pixel is an independent light source. Turns out that's because of something called veiling glare, which can actually occur in your eye. So to some extent, halos are inevitable, kind of like callouts to lttstore.com. Speaking of LEDs, the brightness of this monitor is something to behold. It holds VESA's Display HDR 1000 certification, which means that it's gotta be able to hold 1000 nits across 10% of the screen or a full screen flash. But it actually takes it to another level. Not only does it do 1000, it does 1200 nits, and it can sustain that brightness across the entire screen for long periods, not just flashes. Now, that will cause the display to heat up to the point where its cooling fans kick in, but the good news is that in our testing, the monitor stayed pretty quiet even after 20 minutes of blasting pure white. So, the thing is, even though many movies are mastered using 4000 nit displays, there's only about 20 of those in existence. So more and more features are being mastered at 1000 nits, which means that the PA32UCX can handle that nicely, plus a little bit of headroom. On the flip side, for content consumption, a